just note, first of all, that if you want to waste American taxpayers' dollars, let's talk about the oil industry at record high profits, getting $41 billion worth of tax money from taxpayers. And secondly, if you want to talk about loan guarantees, the Southern Company has received a loan guarantee 15 times larger than Solyndra. And if we're going to re-examine whether or not that's a good investment after Fukushima, after the earthquake near the North Anna plant, let's have that hearing, because I think that money is in jeopardy if you're really concerned. That's 15 times larger. We know we'll never have a hearing on the oil industry or the nuclear industry in this committee. This is all part of an agenda here that deals with the solar industry, the wind industry. So let's go back in time here, Mr. Silva. It's back in 2009. You're looking at this loan guarantee. What does the market look like for solar?
Well, although I wasn't at the Department of 2009, I do have a point of view on the solar industry then. Polysilicon prices were extraordinarily high, and the cost, what they call balance of systems costs of putting conventional solar paneling on roofs, which involves penetrating the roofs as well, was very, very expensive. So the Solyndra technology, which had received a lot of attention during that period, was particularly innovative because it addressed both of those key problems.
In general, you're not providing this financing to Fortune 500 companies. You're providing them to companies that are largely startups with innovative technologies to ensure that we are in this marketplace. Is that not correct?
That is, Congressman, and with the added addition that the companies themselves are required to raise substantial amounts of capital, and Solyndra had already raised many, many hundreds of millions of dollars.
Now, when these loan guarantees were being provided, at any time did your agency or any part of the Federal Government project a 42% drop in the price of solar panel prices in an 8-month period?
Well, not only did they not project the 42% drop this year, but between 2008 and now, that price has dropped about 80%, and most analysts were surprised by that.
So just so we can have an honest discussion here, there is a Moore's Law for solar, and I hold up the chart, and that is that every time there is a doubling of solar panels worldwide in deployment, the cost of producing them goes down by 18%. And that phenomenon has become very predictable. Now, in 2011, so we can see the forest for the trees, the Chinese funded $20 billion for 4 solar companies in 2010. And we've seen in the first 8 months of this year a 42% collapse in the price of these solar panels. Was that foreseeable in 2009?
It was not, although China's commitment to this was increasingly clear, and actually I believe, Congressman, that number is closer to $30 billion.
Did anyone in the marketplace predict a 42% drop in the price of these solar panels in 2011?
I can't speak for every analyst out there, but certainly many, many professionals following the industry were surprised.
We're surprised. Now, let's go to the marketplace at large. Evergreen went bankrupt this year in the United States. SpectraWatt went bankrupt. German Solar SE shut down their Arizona solar facility. BP Solar shut down their facility in Frederick, Maryland. Emerging Conversion and Daystar Technologies lost 80% of their market value this year. This 42% drop this year is as a result of the Chinese intervention in this marketplace. This was not knowable in 2009. This was not knowable in 2010. This was a market intervention. Now, if the Republicans think that, like Johnny Carson's Karnak, that there's an envelope, you know, with the answer in it that was available in 2009, they're kidding themselves. We're in a race. We're in a global race here. And we are doing our best to make this case to the Republicans on this committee. While they keep the loan guarantees for nuclear intact as they pass their budget, while they continue to protect those oil company tax breaks up to $41 billion, they are trying to now to pin, you know, on a collapsing market here in the United States on something that really is related to the fact that we're not focusing upon the Chinese intervention into this marketplace. So I just hope that the administration and their policy of financing these kinds of programs, and I think for the most part, it's been a big success story, and I think we have to keep that in mind as well. The majority has chosen to politicize this program, and it is attempting to discredit clean energy the same way they have tried to do to climate science. It is that simple, that simple. What this really reminds me of, to be honest with you, is the late 1990s, after this committee had passed the Telecommunications Act of 1990, and there was a boom on broadband, and many companies failed. Pets.com, the list is long. On the other hand, there were companies that, in the new environment that we had created, were successful. eBay, Amazon, Google, YouTube, the list goes on. There were many successes, many failures, because we created a paranoia-inducing Darwinian marketplace. What's different here, of course, and what no one anticipated in 2009, although we were in a competition with the Chinese, and by the way, when we passed the Telecommunications Act, we were trying to make sure we branded it made in the USA, which we did. That's how people view that Internet revolution in Egypt and Tunisia and countries around the world. But here, the Chinese have now decided to dump $20 billion into 4 companies. Can you talk about that, Mr. Silver? Can you talk about this environment now within which American solar companies, wind companies, are now competing against a state-run set of corporations against our private sector companies?
Yes, Congressman, I'd be happy to. Not only, as you point out, has China underwritten its solar manufacturing industry with tens and tens of billions of dollars, they have, as I indicated earlier, produced and provided a wide array of additional support facilities, including free land and other kinds of things. There are also mechanisms in place for the purchase of those panels in the domestic market that don't exist here. But I don't think we should limit our focus to China alone. Countries around the world understand the importance and the viability of this space. And it's important that we take this as a global challenge. There will only be one opportunity for us to become a winner here. And if we miss that window, we will have missed a multi-trillion-dollar market.